Good afternoon. They are back in it. The Raptors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 3 of their first-round playoff series last night.
Now Raptor fans are basking in the glow of the team's first playoff win in 4 years. CTV's Jessica Smith's been speaking with fans and joins us live with more. Great game last night, Jess.
Well, Nathan, Michelle, after being down 2-0 in the series, the Raptors had a highlight reel kind of night. Scotty Barnes included, lighting things up. Now, Scotty had a career playoff high 33 points, including 13 in the third quarter, adding 11 assists and 5 rebounds. Mississauga's very own RJ Barrett also hit a career high playoff with 33 points, adding 5 rebounds, 5 assists, going 6 for 8 from the three-point range. Now, Colin Murray Boyles dropping 22, the most ever by a Raptors rookie in a playoff game. The team is still without Emmanuel Quickly, and after a slow start, Brandon Ingram is starting to get his groove back. Now, it was tight into the fourth quarter. The Raptors were able to pull out on the win, putting the Cavs on ice at least for one night. Now, this is the first time the team has made it back to the playoffs in about 4 years, and fans have high hopes. We spoke to them, and they are weighing in on the game last night, plus Coach Darko, Scotty, and RJ leaning in.
We have done so much better than the last 2 games. I feel like having a home court advantage has really helped us. It's been a night and day difference. They're leading by almost 25 points.
Yeah, what a welcome home for RJ Barrett. Way to welcome him back home. His first game in the playoffs, and we love him. We're here for it.
Scotty played amazing tonight. I've been saying since the start, the stars have to shine in basketball. And today, oh my God.
I think we started off the day in a really positive move that, we're just hungry. We really wanted to win. We want to do whatever it takes, and it just goes out there to show that, everybody really stepped on the floor, and we knew we needed everybody for this win, and you've seen some big performances from everybody. So it just goes to show how resilient, how bad we wanted it. We went out there and tried to do whatever it took.
We're tough, resilient group. We're going to fight. I think those first 2 games, Cleveland, for a young team, a team that has a lot of players with no, playoff experience. I think a night like tonight was good to give us some confidence and just show that, we're here, we're in this series. That when we play like how we did today, everybody together, everybody playing hard, locked in on the game plan, we can make some noise.
I know that he was very excited to play a playoff game in front of our crowd over here. Just like he said, after the game, crowd was amazing. Hopefully next game is going to be even more loud. I know that he gave it all, his preparation, all between the last game and today. He did extra treatments, he did extra work, extra film. He did everything to put himself and put a team in a position to be successful.
Now, the Cavaliers are still up 2-1 in the best-of-7 series, but fans are saying Raptors in 6. The next game, Game 4, goes on Sunday at 1 p.m. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Smith. I'll send things back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Jess. To other news, one person's been taken into custody after a teenage boy was stabbed in Brampton this morning.
The incident prompted lockdowns and hold-and secures at nearby schools, which have since been lifted. CP24 Steve Wright has been following this investigation. He joins us live now with the latest. Steve, what can you tell us?
Well, this happened at the Brampton Centennial Secondary School. Police were called at 8:25. They were on scene by 8:29, and they had a young person in custody shortly thereafter. So just to put that in context, the school was in lockdown for less than 40 minutes, and that's because of a quick response by the police and as a result of them being able to get someone in custody. And obviously, a school goes into lockdown whenever there is a threat of violence on a school property or around a school property. In this particular case, I am told by students inside of the school that this was a fight between 2 friends, and the fight took place in the cafeteria, a consensual fight, and people can't consent to a fight. They can't consent to bodily harm. And this particular fight, this fight was over a disputed social media post that was put out online. One of the 2 took offense to it. They agreed to this fist fight near the cafeteria, and during that fist fight, one of the 2 friends took out a knife and allegedly stabbed the other. That one person has been transported to a hospital where he is being treated for his injuries, and the young person is now in custody facing a very, very serious slew of charges, including some sort of weapons offense, I would assume. School is back to normal. The kids are coming to and from the school. All is back in order. Very good protocols by the school. The lockdown happening quickly, being lifted quickly. injunction with the police being on scene quickly, making an arrest quickly, getting that person in custody and away from the school, and now the day is back to normal. That's it from here. Let's send it back to you guys.
CP24 Steve Ryan live for us. Thank you. An investigation is underway following a fatal house fire in North York.
Crews experienced heavy smoke and made entry into the building for extinguishing purposes and rescue operations. Crews did locate an individual in the residence and made extrication of that individual, who then was later transported by Toronto Paramedic Services to hospital. Unfortunately, that individual was pronounced.
Flames broke out at a home on Pellet Avenue and Academy Road near the 401 and 400. This was just after 7 last night. A man in his 70s was found inside the home. He was taken to hospital where he later died. His dog also died in the fire. A woman who did not live in the home was also taken to hospital with minor injuries. Firefighters say this house had working smoke detectors.
A house fire in Brampton sent 2 people to hospital. Flames broke out just after 11 at a home on Hunts Point Drive near Castlemore and McVean Drive. One person was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries, while the second was transported as a precaution. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
York Regional Police are investigating shots fired at a home in Vaughan overnight. Officers called to the area of Rutherford Road and Weston Road shortly after 3:30 in the morning. They confirmed a residence was struck by bullets. No injuries have been reported. Police have not provided a suspect description at this stage. And shots were fired in Etobicoke last night. Police were called to a location on Tandridge Crescent near Albion and Islington just after 10:30. They found evidence of gunfire in this area. So far, no injuries reported. There have not been details right now on possible suspects.
A major crash in Caledon sent 2 people to hospital. Emergency crews were called to the Chinguacousy and Tim Manley area just before midnight. Both victims were taken to hospital with minor injuries. The cause of the crash is still not known.
Halton Regional Police are renewing their appeal for help as they search for a woman who's been missing for more than a year and a half. Police say Irma Galastica was 32 years old when she was last seen in Burlington on August 31st of 2024. There's been no sign of her since, but investigators say someone out there must know something that would help advance this investigation into her whereabouts or what happened to the Toronto mother.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Halton Regional Police Board for approving a reward of $25,000 for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those involved in the disappearance of Irma Galastica, or credible details confirming her current location.
Police say a drug lab was discovered in a Burlington residence that is Galastica's last known location.
Still to come, the war of wars continues amid the ongoing trade war between Canada and the U.S. It comes as Canada's ambassador to the U.S. says this country is ready to begin CUSMA negotiations. We'll have those details a little later in the newscast. Now to the growing fight over the future of Billy Bishop Airport.
Mayor Olivia Chow is speaking out against a new provincial bill that would allow the Ford government to take over the city's role at the travel hub. The bill is part of a government push to expand the airport to serve jets. Chow is raising concerns about how this could impact a park on the waterfront. The province says one of the parcels of land being considered for expansion is about 1/3 of Little Norway Park at Queens Quay in Bathurst. Chow calls the effort a unilateral action to seize city land without consulting Torontonians.
We haven't seen a proposal for airport expansion. We haven't seen any plan. We don't know if the federal government will allow it, and yet they are already coming for the parks. When the government doesn't like what 3 million people of Toronto want, when it doesn't get the 3 million people will, it just go ahead and takes it anyway. That is not democracy. That is a power grab.
Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria spoke with CP24 over the last hour. He says the province's proposal keeps the park in place.
We're working with the Toronto Port Authority to ensure that we can build out and modernize the Billy Bishop. But the park will continue as a part of the process. The expropriation happens, but most importantly, this is about bringing more air travel options to the people in Ontario. Billy Bishop is one of our biggest assets. It moves 2 million people a year. It's underutilized, and we need to move it forward.
The mayor has threatened legal action to try to stop provincial takeover of Little Norway Park and wants the federal government to block the move.
If you have travel plans in the city this weekend, you're being urged to plan ahead.
There are lots of events happening, and the Gardner is said to be closed for annual spring maintenance. CTV's Janice Golding joins us live now with more on how people are preparing for the busy weekend ahead. Janice.
Hi, Michelle. Yes, it is going to be a very busy weekend in the city with a whole slew of sporting events and cultural activities planned for the downtown core. A reminder, of course, that it is going to be a bit tricky getting around downtown. The Gardner Expressway will shut down at 11 tonight, right until 5 a.m. Monday from Spadina to South Kingsway for spring maintenance. Meanwhile, Line 2 of the TTC will be shut down from Kipling to Jane tomorrow due to planned signal work. This at a time when the city couldn't be busier with so much going on. The Jays are going to be playing the Cleveland Guardians tonight, starting just after 7 p.m. On Sunday, Toronto will also be hosting the largest Sikh celebration in Canada, the annual Council Day Parade, which starts at 1 p.m. This year, it will be taking place at City Hall due to FIFA-related events at its usual location at Exhibition Place. And tomorrow, the Toronto FC will be playing Atlanta at BMO Field. And who could forget the Raptors, who will be facing off against the Cleveland Guardians at Scotia Arena this Sunday afternoon in their second home game of the playoffs.
It's good practice for when the World Cup comes. I appreciate that people have congestion, but I think the city's really great and people should try to use transit to get in here instead of drive when there are big events.
When it's about working in downtown, usually I bike actually, which is, share bike is very efficient. There's no tickets, no traffic for bikes, so it's amazing.
Probably biking around or taking transit. Yeah, it's pretty good to get around, but getting in and out of the city is pretty tough.
Another notable event, Queen's Park will be the site of a spring celebration tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be full of fun, free family events, and you can also take a self-guided tour through the Ontario Parliament. Reporting live, Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle and Nathan.
All right, thank you, Janice. Lots to do this weekend. We've got more news in a moment, but first, a look at the city this afternoon. There's a shot of the Gardner is going to be closed this weekend, so bear that in mind, beginning tonight at 11. As for the forecast, right now a mixture of sun and cloud and a little bit cooler perhaps than yesterday and the day before. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, you know what? We have a bit of a mixed weather forecast for the weekend. Sunday looks great. I know there's so many events going on. Then Saturday morning, especially, a bit of a different story. Here's our current satellite and radar. A little bit of cloud draping over the GTA, and it is cooler today. It's only 6 degrees right now compared to teen temperatures we've been experiencing this time of day the last several days. Still quite mild across southwestern Ontario. Part of the reason for our cooler day today, a pretty strong wind directly out of the east. So we will be feeling it right through this afternoon. Varying amounts of sun and cloud for your Friday. Still holding on to the chance of a shower and a daytime high of about 10 degrees. So on the cool side of seasonal this time. Showers possible today. Rain for overnight tonight and into your Saturday morning. We've got a full look at the weekend weather coming up. But for now, Michelle, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. The federal government has approved Enbridge's natural gas pipeline expansion in British Columbia. Natural Resources Minister Tim Hodgson confirmed yesterday the government has approved the $4 billion plan to expand the company's West Coast natural gas pipeline system. The project includes roughly 140 kilometers of new pipeline, which will add up to 300 million cubic feet of capacity per day. Construction is due to begin this summer.
Turning to the latest on the trade war between Canada and the U.S., top American trade officials have threatened some form of enforcement action over the ongoing issue of wine and spirits. Several provinces pulled U.S. alcohol from stores last year after U.S. President Donald Trump started the trade war. Speaking before a congressional hearing on Wednesday, U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greet warned there may have to be an enforcement action to deal with the issue of wine and spirits. This comes as Canada's new ambassador to the U.S. says Canada is ready to start CUSMA negotiations.
I'm not going to discuss the details of the Government of Canada's detailed strategy as it relates to the CUSMA review or the 232 issues here, but I will say that Canada is ready to go in our discussions. We are prepared. We have done our homework, and we are ready to proceed with each of Mexico and the United States forthwith.
The status of those talks is uncertain, with the U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, recently saying there have been no serious talks since last fall. Trump terminated trade talks in October after Ontario ran an ad on American television featuring former U.S. President Ronald Reagan arguing against tariffs. And CTV's Jeremy Sharon joins us now from Ottawa with more on this live. So a lot of talking before the actual talks, Jeremy. What did we hear from Canada's U.S. ambassador?
Yeah, the pre-talks to the real talks, Nathan. It's a lot of preamble, if you will. We heard yesterday for the first time from the U.S. ambassador, Mark Wiseman, who addressed a committee here on Parliament Hill on Foreign Affairs, talking specifically about his mandate as ambassador and what he'll take on and the role he'll play. He will play a significant role in negotiations, and what we know is he has met with a number of lawmakers already in Washington in the lead up to the more official part of these negotiations that is expected to take place at some point between now and July 1st, of course, which is when all parties will have to decide whether to keep the deal as is or initiate the renewal and the renegotiation of a new deal, which is widely expected to be the case. What we heard from Mr. Wiseman is that, as you just heard in that clip, that he wouldn't, divulge specific details about Canada's strategy, but we do know that Mr. Wiseman and the negotiating team will be focused on trying to improve the tariff situation, specifically when it comes to Section 232 tariffs that are being imposed on the steel and aluminum sector, on lumber, softwood lumber, and on the auto sector. We're seeing punishing impacts in those industries as a result of this. Canada will be looking for changes to be made there. But as we know, and as you've touched on, the U.S. has outlined its list of irritants, if you will. They don't like that U.S. alcohol is being kept off Canadian shelves. And we've heard over and over again from them, they want to see changes when it comes to supply management in the dairy industry. So the big question is, where do we land when it comes to the give and take, and what is Canada able to accomplish without giving too much up? What we know is that the ambassador says Canada is ready to initiate formal conversations, but Washington has said the same thing, and those official talks still haven't gotten underway. So the big question is, when will we see more official conversations start to take place?
And while we wait, BC's premier has spoken about the impact of tariffs. What's he saying?
Yeah, we just talked about, the alcohol issue here that is almost becoming a pawn in these negotiations, maybe a bargaining chip. The administration in Washington has been very clear. They are upset by the fact that U.S. booze is being kept off Canadian shelves. They think it is ridiculous. And what we've heard from most premiers is that, of course, this is a direct response to the tariffs that have been put in place that are impacting their provinces and the sectors, most heavily impacted. Premier David Eby in BC responding directly to these comments that came from the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick in whether or not he was ready to change his position on U.S. alcohol and whether it would be returning to shelves in BC. Here's what Premier David Eby had to say yesterday.
We will not be putting liquor back on the shelves until BC's trade issues are addressed. And the most acute one for our province right now is the massive and unfair tariffs on our timber going to the United States. The fact that Canadian timber is being replaced with European and Russian timber that has preferential access to the market is totally absurd. It's an issue I've underlined for the American ambassador.
So the premier pretty clear there. This is a direct response to the tariffs that are, impacting these provinces, and that, there will be no change in terms of stocking U.S. liquor on Canadian shelves until there is change when it comes to the tariffs. So I think these are the early stages already of the negotiation that are kind of playing out here in the public. We'll have to kind of wait and see, Nathan, for more formal talks to begin and what kind of progress can be made on that front.
Yeah, we're all waiting. CTV Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. Thank you.
Anytime.
Pierre Poilievre is in Mississauga calling for the elimination of taxes on gas for the remainder of the year. The Conservative leader indicates Mark Carney's temporary suspension of the federal excise tax is not enough.
Under his plan, Canadians are forced to continue to pay 15 cents per litre every time they gas up, even during this short-term suspension of the excise tax. Conservatives, by contrast, want to get rid of all three taxes.
Poilievre wants to see the excise tax on gas and diesel removed for the entire year instead of just from April 20th to September 7th. He also wants to get rid of the carbon tax and the GST on fuel. The Conservatives say that would save Canadians $1,200 for the remainder of the year, $20 for each fill-up and 25 cents per litre. Turning now to the war in the Middle East, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says Iran has a historic chance to make a good deal to end the conflict. During a briefing, he stated the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports is growing.
America's military is unmatched, projecting power, denying passage to adversaries, and protecting our interest at the time and place of our choosing. No one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour. We are in control, nothing in, nothing out.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister says he held a phone conversation with Pakistani officials about the ceasefire with the U.S. He says they spoke about regional developments related to the ceasefire, but did not provide any specifics. Pakistan has been trying to get American and Iranian officials back to the negotiating table in Islamabad. U.S. President Donald Trump has extended the current ceasefire indefinitely. And tensions are rising, meanwhile, in the Strait of Hormuz after Trump stated he ordered the U.S. military to shoot and kill Iranian small boats in the waterway. The conflict between the U.S. and Iran has effectively choked off nearly all exports through that key shipping route.
Jen, Trump says a ceasefire between Israel and the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon will be extended following diplomatic talks at the White House.
We had a great meeting with the very high officials of Lebanon and very high officials of Israel, and we think that the president of Lebanon and the prime minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here.
Trump says the truce will continue for another 3 weeks. It was set to expire Monday. A continuation of the ceasefire was a key condition for Lebanon to keep negotiating for an end to the war.
Well, all in all, I think I'd say this was a pretty good week weather-wise. Happy Friday, everyone. A much drier week. Temperatures were warm at times. We started off pretty cool, and now we are ending the work and school week on a bit of a cooler note once again, but still in the double digits. That's where we expect to land for a daytime high today. The evening should remain dry with some sun and cloud, but by the late evening and certainly overnight, we are into some wet weather. It's going to be pretty widespread. Some measurable rain expected before this dries out into Saturday afternoon. I will say, though, Sunday is looking like an ideal day for spending some time outside. So we'll tell you all about it in your weekend forecast coming up and talk about what's in store for next week. That's just ahead here on CTV News at Noon.
The absolute final deadline for the Princess Margaret Home Lottery is midnight tonight. We are over 90% sold. You don't want to miss out. Limited tickets. Joining me now is Ramona Osram, the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, and we are standing in this incredible show home in Thornhill.
I know. It is part of the $8.5 million grand prize, which includes $500,000 cash. We've toured this home a few times together. Oh my gosh, does it get more beautiful than this?
No, it doesn't, and it's over 7,500 square feet,
Yeah.
5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, but you have to get your tickets before midnight tonight. And of course, there are so many other incredible prizes.
That's right. Oh, in fact, over 11,000 incredible prizes, including our 50-50, which you can add on. So this is incredible news. We are now over $6.1 million in our jackpot. That means the winner will take home over $3 million.
Woo!
So lots you can do with $3 million. And of course, the other half goes to support life-saving cancer research at the Princess Margaret.
And we've said this before, we've all been touched by cancer one way or another, and this is an important cause.
That's right. right.
Yeah.
Funds from the home lottery really fuel research in the areas of early detection, innovative treatments, and comprehensive support. Critical work that not only benefits Ontarians, but benefits cancer patients globally.
Yeah, and we are seeing more and more young people also being diagnosed with cancer. This is why we need to carry the fire and provide hope.
That's right. So you can help us carry the fire by purchasing that home lottery ticket. Limited tickets remain. Final deadline, absolute final deadline is midnight tonight. You can be in to win so many incredible prizes like this $8.5 million grand prize, cars, vacations, and so much more.
But you have to get your tickets, and don't forget to add on that 50-50 because the jackpot is growing
That's
still.
right.
Yes.
Over $6.1 million right now, and thanks to you, we know it will continue to grow throughout the day.
All right, get your tickets before midnight tonight, princessmargaretlotto.com.
It is Friday, and not too bad of a start to the day. Temperatures, yeah, they've cooled down a tad since yesterday, but we haven't seen rain yet.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'll admit I was wearing a lighter jacket. It was a little bit cooler this morning, but temperatures gradually rising.
Yeah, I had one child who has moved on to shorts now as opposed to pants, and yeah, today didn't feel quite as comfortable, I think. So yeah, just keep an eye on the temperatures as we make our way through this weekend. We will be back to seasonal by Sunday. The weather looks nice and bright that day too, but yes, we do have a bit of active weather to get through first. So let's share with you what's in store. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. And we take another live look outside. It's true, it's dry right now here in the GTA. We do have a bit of cloud cover draping over our neck of the woods and eastern sections of Ontario too. If you're joining us from the west end of the GTA, or perhaps areas like Hamilton, Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, there were some rumbles of thunder early this morning, but those have moved out. Little bit of active weather right now across extreme southwest Ontario, just crossing over the Detroit River. But for us here in the GTA, it's a bit of cloud. We will have varying amounts of sun and cloud for today. We have a chance of showers for this afternoon, but the main event when it comes to wet weather this weekend is still to come. And that's going to arrive a little later tonight, late evening. And then through tomorrow morning, we could pick up anywhere from about 10 to 20 millimeters of rainfall. So yeah, it is a bit of a soggy start to the day on Saturday. Your afternoon, though, Saturday is going to be a bit drier, though. So let's show you the timing of this. Here's about 1 o'clock in the morning. So scattered wet weather, a little steadier to the east of Georgian Bay. Then as we're waking up Saturday morning, early risers are going to need the umbrella. The rain could be quite heavy and steady around the southern portions of Georgian Bay. And we're also watching Niagara for perhaps some heavier rain midday. There's about 6 p.m. some remnant wet weather, but again, just about everyone seeing the heaviest of this rain move out heading into Sunday. Some beautiful clearing back into sunshine. A little bit of fair weather cloudiness lingering into the afternoon, but not only will it be drier and sunnier, it's also going to be warmer that day. So let's talk about the temperature portion of your weather story. 20 degrees already in Windsor, but that's really the only part of southern Ontario benefiting from some heat. Stateside, we are significantly cooler here in Toronto compared to the last couple of days. It's only 6 degrees right now. 5 is our forecast overnight low. That's after we hope to make it to a high of 10 today, maybe 9 degrees tomorrow. So that is below seasonal. I should mention too that your Saturday, especially your Saturday morning, is also going to be quite windy with some very strong gusts out of the east. As we know, that easterly wind direction isn't the most pleasant of all the wind directions. So just keep that in mind as you make your Saturday plans. Again, Sunday looks great for spending time outside. Monday too, and then we're back into a few showers for the middle part of next week. That's the weather for now. Michelle, sending it back over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, the Blue Jays begin a series with the Cleveland Guardians tonight.
In the air to left field, dropping fair.
The team lost 7-3 to the LA Angels on Wednesday afternoon. First pitch for tonight's game against Cleveland is set for just after 7 at Rogers Center. Max Scherzer is expected to get the start for the Jays. And in the latest entry to our Hometown Team series, we check in with Blue Jays slugger George Springer.
He's currently on the injured list, but spoke with CTV's Sean Leathong about helping power the Jays to the World Series last year and what he loves about Toronto.
You played for a team called the Blue Jays as a kid, is that right?
I did. I played for a travel team named the Connecticut Blue Jays.
It was destiny.
Apparently, oh yeah. My dad had a friend who had season tickets to the Whalers, and when he didn't go, he offered him up to my dad. That's where I fell in love with hockey.
It came in your face?
It's huge. I mean, for me, it's about sharing my experiences. Hopefully somebody can see me and believe in themselves and go out and be who they are. My favorite moment as a Blue Jay was Game 7 of the ALCS, but not because of the homer, just because of the moment. I think, you know, standing on the stage with everybody, accomplishing that goal was unbelievable.
How gratifying is this to be able to put this team into the World Series?
I couldn't be happier for us as a team, the organization, the fans.
Why do you love Toronto?
I get to come to this place every day and feel the love and play in front of not only just a crowd, but a country. And I think that's the coolest thing on the planet. It honestly means the world to me.
AFC Toronto will be hitting the pitch today as the Northern Super League returns for its second season.
Chang sending a forward ball. It's a nice one to Holly Ward. She's got an edge on Burns.
AFC Toronto will be taking on the defending champion Vancouver Rise in BC. It'll be a rematch of last year's league final, which saw Vancouver come from behind to beat Toronto and claim the inaugural Matheson Cup. With just 7 weeks to go until the FIFA World Cup, we're getting to know the players on Team Canada.
CTV's chief anchor and senior editor Omar Sachedina sat down with veteran forward Kyle Larin, one of Canada's all-time leading goal scorers from the soccer talent hotbed of Brampton.
From this iconic strike against Mexico in the snow-covered stadium in Edmonton to that historic game winner against the U.S. in Hamilton, Kyle Larin's impact on soccer in this country is undisputed. Drawn to the sport since childhood by both passion and circumstance.
I think it's something I've always loved, and I actually played hockey for a bit when I was younger in Canada. Didn't have the money for that, so soccer was always something I've always played and became really good at.
So good, he became MLS Rookie of the Year with Orlando City and eventually went on to play in Belgium, Turkey, Spain, the Netherlands, and now England, where he competes for Southampton.
Oh, here goes Larin for Southampton. Taking on Clewitt, gets the shot away, and it's a magnificent goal for Southampton.
A journey that began in Brampton, Ontario, where several players from Canada's so-called golden generation come from.
It's a hotbed of talent when it comes to soccer.
Yeah.
What is it about Brampton that creates so many soccer players?
Brampton's really big. When I was growing up, I think a lot of people played. Yeah, I think you have so many cultures that from different backgrounds and Caribbean, Spanish families.
Who look up to the 30-year-old veteran striker as a player with proven experience who's helped shape the confidence and ambition of the team.
You talked about the difference. I mean, is any part of you surprised at how much soccer has grown over the years in this country?
No, I don't think I'm surprised. I think just there was never a spotlight on it, or it's always been overlooked. But I think as the national team has done better, I think it's put more spotlight as we're beating better teams, playing as better competition. It definitely helps.
That track record will be put to the ultimate test at this year's World Cup.
It's just special to me to play a home World Cup. Not everybody gets to do that. Not all players get to do that, and it's special to play in front of my family, and they'll probably be at every game.
To truly understand how meaningful that moment will be, try stepping into the shoes of the man who once couldn't even afford a pair of soccer cleats and has found a way to own the game. Omar Sechedina, CTV News, Toronto.
Can't wait to see him in action. Still to come on CTV News at noon, a documentary about a key moment in Canadian comedy history is coming to a wider audience. We'll have more on You Had to Be There when we return.
A few months after its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, a documentary on a key moment in Canadian comedy history has reportedly secured a wider release.
How can a documentary film like this one ever hope to capture the spirit of the 1972 Toronto Godspell?
Yeah.
Is this just a
dumb idea?
You Had to Be There tells the story of the 14-month run of Godspell, the musical, at the Royal Alex, starring comedy titans like Martin Short, Eugene Levy, Gilda Radner, Victor Garber, Andrea Martin, and many others. Deadline reports the doc has secured a North American distributor. CTV News was on the red carpet when You Had to Be There first screened at TIFF in September.
It's just this really weird moment where Stephen Schwartz came to Canada, looked for a cast for Godspell, and just picked like 6 or 7 of the most legendary people in comedy.
The talent, I mean, you just sit back and we were able to watch everybody's audition. So I mean, there was some unbelievably talented people at that audition.
It's just really a confirmation of what I always knew, that this was a special thing. Way back when it started, I thought, this isn't normal. I knew it.
The doc's full title is actually You Had to Be There, How the Toronto Godspell Ignited the Comedy Revolution, Spread Love and Overalls, and Created a Community that Changed the World in a Canadian Kind of Way. It's expected to hit theaters in September.
A long-awaited musical biopic is tracking towards a big first weekend at the box office.
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
Michael tells the story of the rise of Michael Jackson to music stardom. Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, takes on the role of his late uncle. Deadline reports it brought in $12.6 million U.S. during previews across North America, with strong ticket sales abroad. The movie ends prior to the period in which Jackson faced sexual abuse allegations.
Still to come, there's continued reaction to Drake's ice sculpture promoting his upcoming album. We'll have more on what people have been saying online when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The ice sculpture that took over a downtown parking lot to promote Drake's upcoming album was the talk of the city this week. For more on the online buzz it generated, we're joined live by Sam East, host with 99.9 Virgin Radio, for our weekly segment, Chronically Online. Sam, I was really hoping we would get to talk about Drake's ice capade. Goodness, talked about internationally. The New York Times even did a piece on it. I really feel this is one of those moments in Toronto history where years down the road we'll be like, remember when Drake dropped that mound of ice downtown?
Yes, and whether you are Drake's biggest fan or his biggest critic, you can't deny that it worked. The intent of this was to be a marketing stunt, and guess what? We've all been talking about it all week long. So in case you missed it, Drake and his team put up this giant ice sculpture right in downtown Toronto at Bond and Dundas, with the intent of someone trying to break through and figure out when that release date would be for his upcoming album, Iceman. Now, fast forward to this. This was big. People were coming through trying to hose this thing down, trying to get through to the center of it. A Toronto streamer was able to get in. Now, we're not sure if he was sent by Drake, if that was the plan all along, but essentially he live streamed this. He got into the ice sculpture. There was a bag there. He was then sent to Drake's house, reportedly, was given a sum of money, reportedly, and we then found out what the release date is for the album Iceman, May 15th. So I gotta say, job well done on the marketing stunt. What do you think, Michelle?
I was hoping that maybe we would just let nature take its course and wait and see how long it would take, but then I wonder, might have taken longer than till May 15th. Certainly some people not liking the resources to kind of keep this area safe, but then again, others kind of angry that it was hosed down by the fire department, by the, having them jump in, because it has become, as you see there, like a tourist attraction. So many people coming in from out of town to see that thing.
Absolutely. And of course, this comes with a lot of feedback, including this response from one creator.
And they were all grown men chipping away at the ice sculpture during working hours. I'm sorry, but unless you're under the age of 16, there was no reason for you to be there, girl. That right there should have been a core high school memory of skipping class to do that.
I mean, he has a point. What were people doing? Weren't they supposed to be at work? In case, unless you were with CTV News, of course, covering the story, but otherwise, just an inexplicable turnout right in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I'm laughing at how it was such a part of our week. We were on Ice Watch, but
yes,
hey, there's a lot of interest. Before we let you go, let's talk about how fans are reacting to new rules coming for Ticketmaster Canada governing resale prices. What can you tell us about that?
Well, this is specific to Ticketmaster in Ontario. So as you know, it is not cheap to go to a live event, whether that's a music event, sporting event, and the resale value on a lot of these tickets is out of this world. But now there is government intervention. It is now going to be illegal to resell at greater than face value with fees included in that. This is, coming as a welcome decision. Some of the responses here that have been circulating on social media just overjoyed at this, saying it's about time that this has happened because it's becoming completely unreasonable to go to a show. I prayed for times like these, someone said, tweeting something that they mentioned back in 2013. And another person saying, the rest of the world next, we beg. Because again, this is only applicable right now to Ontario. So the rest of Canada, the rest of the world is looking at us as an example. Now, the thing is, people are meeting this with some skepticism, right? They're not sure if that means StubHub, SeatGeek, the other resale options are going to totally obey these new rules because there's been pushback. Will they? That is yet to be seen.
Well, it's time we let you go, Sammy. She's got a show 2 to 5 p.m. on Virgin Radio. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
If you missed the Tony Award-winning play Moulin Rouge, the musical, when it came to Toronto last year, you're in luck.
It is back on stage for a return engagement. CTV's Andrea Case spoke to a couple of the cast members who have a local connection.
This is where all your dreams come true.
The Tony Award-winning Moulin Rouge, the musical, was a hit with audiences when it played in Toronto last year.
You are the Moulin Rouge.
Now it's back at the CAA Ed Mervish Theatre until May 10th. And on stage in this Broadway national touring production are two actors who couldn't be happier to be in Toronto. Ottawa's Alex Nicholson and Toronto's Justina Aveyard. She is a swing member of the cast.
Whenever one of the ensemble members is sick, injured, or covering one of the lead roles, I'll pop into whatever track is open that day and say a prayer that I am in the right spot.
Have you ever been in the wrong spot?
Oh, I sure have.
Nicholson has a greater responsibility playing Toulouse-Lautrec.
We're both people who really enjoy the world of the theater and enjoy creating something and enjoy the spectacle and enjoy making people smile and laugh and have a good time.
Aveyard is a former York University kinesiology student. She left to study theater in New York, but it has always been a dream to perform in her hometown.
I've cried when people have come to see me in New York performing, so I don't even know what I'm going to experience in the next few days.
Because you have a lot of people coming to see you in Moulin Rouge.
I sure do. I've gotten lots of group tickets, so it's very exciting.
Long before Nicholson appeared on Broadway in Hamilton, he remembers sitting in the audience in this very theater, taking in shows. Now people will be watching him. As such, he feels a sense of responsibility.
Last time I was in the ensemble covering people. This time I am kind of helping lead this show, so it feels like an even more of an exciting and also kind of like burdensome experience a little bit too, because I'm like, I want to make sure that I do Canada proud and that everyone out there feels the way I felt watching my fellow Canadians up there.
Well, you have broad shoulders, so I think you're going to be okay.
All right, I'm going to carry it all.
While the show Moulin Rouge takes place in France in 1899, the songs you will hear are very modern, from Madonna, Rihanna, Queen, and Sting. But you might want to come a little bit early because the action doesn't only take place on stage, there's a little activity in the lobby beforehand. Andrea Case, CTV News.
All right, sounds like a must-see. Let's talk about the forecast. How are things looking?
Yeah, you know what? Things are looking a little unsettled for the start of the weekend. Today, not bad, though. Here's one more look at the satellite and radar. A little bit of cloud cover around the GTA. No wet weather yet. That's going to come overnight tonight and certainly into tomorrow morning. That's what we're waking up to. Afternoon should be drier, but it's going to be windy and cool. That's your Saturday forecast there, 9 degrees. How about Sunday, though? Nice little improvement. Sunshine and a high near 15 degrees. Similar conditions for Monday to kick off next week. Back into a few showers by Tuesday. Nathan and Michelle.
Thanks, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.